Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Carver Conservation Commission meeting for Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. This meeting is being cablecast by Area 58 Community Access Media, Channel 15. It will be posted by Area 58 on YouTube as soon as possible. We'll get right to our agenda this evening and our order of business, a very light agenda. So we'll start with our first item, and that is a certificate of compliance for DEP file SE 126-652. This is a property on Crescent Street, 6 Crescent Street, that the three of us went to this morning for a site visit. Is there anybody here from Crescent Street? No. Okay.
Matt Sullivan, the owner, he couldn't make it. He's a fireman in town, and not that that really matters, but he's on a 24-hour shift. So if there's any questions, I told him I'd represent him.
All right, fine. Well, Gary, you may remember when we went and looked at this property before they built the house. I think you were here then.
Right.
There was a lot of junk out in the wetlands. There were tires, there were old TVs, metal, and I believe we asked them to clean that up.
Yeah, we did.
It's still there, so we're not going to give them a COC.
Okay.
All right, and another thing is the paved driveway is in a different position than the plan, and it's much closer to the wetlands. So,
Because he told me he pulled everything back. All right, I'll talk to him about it then, and I'll have him come in for the next meeting then.
Yeah.
He can explain himself.
yeah, I think we're going to need another plan. They provided an as-built plan with the septic system because that changed, but they did not change the footprint of the driveway, which is definitely different.
Okay.
So we may want Webby to do another plan showing exactly where the driveway is as built, because we should have that in our records.
Sounds good. I'll pass it on to Mr. Sullivan then.
Okay. So we don't have to vote on this tonight. It was pretty obvious that.
Did you happen to notice the signage out there, the conservation signage?
Yeah.
Yes.
Put that out?
Yes.
Yeah, and
Okay,
I'm not 100% that one of them was probably in the right spot. I'm not 100% sure that the other one was.
Okay.
They had that little finger going out to the well, and it looked as though the 65-foot sign was closer to the wetlands than what was indicated on the plan.
I'll pass that on too.
Yeah, I mean, it may be that that was the nearest tree they could put it on instead of putting a post in the ground.
That's usually the case.
But what I'd like Webby to do, because I really want to see another plan with the driveway, and I think he should put where those signs are. He should indicate on the plan where the signs are.
Okay, I got notes.
Yeah, and they have a little portable canvas-covered shed that's within the 65 feet too. It's temporary, but you know how temporary things are like that. 20 years later, they're still there. So,
I'll tell him to come in for the judge now.
okay, thank you.
Other car fluids and
You're
everything.
welcome.
All right, so there's no action we have to take. We'll bring them back on April 10th, which is our next meeting. All right. Next up, 73 Crystal Lake Drive, discussion of trees removed in the buffer. Anyone here from?
I'd like to put that off till the next meeting. That's like some kind of family trust, and they didn't give me contact information, so that's why I didn't put it on your site visits, but we had it on the agenda. So I'd like that to get kicked to the 10th also.
All right, are you the residents?
Yes.
Yeah.
The residents are here.
It's been sold as of January 5th. We're the new owners.
You're the new owners.
Yes.
All right. Why don't you come up and sit down? Please sign in and just tell us what you want to do or have done. And then if we need to bring you back on the 10th of April, we will.
Okay.
And what is it that you need? You need a plan, right?
If he's here, When I spoke to them, it was in the hallway, and they never gave me their names in writing or their phone numbers, so I had no way to get back to them.
Okay.
Because we were kind of in passing.
All right. All right, so we'll hear,
So I couldn't
that.
get back to them to say either way what you folks said.
All right, so I think what we'll do tonight is we'll listen to what they have to say, and then we'll go on a site visit on the 10th, just to see.
That sounds good.
So we should do that. Okay.
I'll finish this up afterwards.
Hi.
So, okay, hi. Kevin Enman, 73 Crystal Lake Drive. So we recently bought the property. We abut a small section of Town Beach, I guess I'll
Yep.
call it.
Yeah, one of the 4
Exactly.
sections,
There's
yeah.
a fence that has taken some destruction from the trees that we're talking about. There's 3 full-grown, mature pine trees, and then a dead oak along the property line. We have labeled those with small rope
Okay.
wrapped around them for a site visit,
Okay.
because that's what we were told to do.
Yes, all right.
So I'm not going to pretend to be an arborist, but I have done a kind of a crude measurement. The trees are 85 plus feet tall.
Yeah.
For a white pine in this area, looking that up, that's fully mature.
Yeah.
They're deteriorating at the bottom, at least halfway up, if not 2/3.
Top
We've
heavy.
had branches falling on vehicles that we have there already. The roof's been compromised on the garage slightly from it. And ultimately, there's a lot of debris that's actually falling on the town's property as well.
Okay.
So, you know, our plan, we had gotten a quote from a tree company. They suggested we get permission from the town because of the 100-foot barrier, from what
Okay.
my understanding, which they do certainly fall within that 100 feet.
All right, are all the trees on your property?
They are all on our property.
Okay.
There are some on the town property that kind of fall in the same boat, so to speak.
Right.
But that's, you know, that's not for, you know, we're just trying to clean up. We had a
Okay.
tremendous amount of cleanup, buying the house. You know, we're not against trees, we're just
been
against
windy.
what's causing the damage to our vehicles and the sap and whatnot.
We've had a windy December and January.
We have, and I know we've had an extraordinary weird year about pine cones, so we
Unbelievable,
probably
Yeah.
could have
actually.
filled,
I
we
know.
probably could have filled 3 dumpsters with pine cones
Easily.
this year. Yeah.
I have the same thing in my house.
Right, and that's not the issue, I expect that, you know, and
Right.
you know, we're not anti-leave people or whatever, it's just, the trees are really at the point where they're done.
Okay.
You know, if they were healthy 40-foot trees, we wouldn't be here right now. So my
Okay.
concern is really the falling on the house.
All right.
I haven't heard from our new insurance company. A lot of new insurance companies do visits. I don't think they'd be thrilled with the trees there. It's impacting the power wires, the street power wires. The trees completely engulfed that one telephone pole at the street. So,
Okay.
you know,
Well, we generally, you know, we go on a site visit, and if the tree or trees are clearly a danger to your home, then we have
Okay.
no issue with taking them down. So what I think we would like to do is on April 10th, which is our next meeting, go out,
Okay.
do a site visit. I'd also like to look at the trees that are on the town property
that would be great.
and see if I can talk to somebody
Okay.
in town to maybe, if they're a danger to your home as well.
Well, they are right, I mean, there's
They're
only
right.
5-foot difference
Yeah, the
between.
trees were probably there before the fence.
Yeah, I'm certain of that.
So that's something that, you know, because if you take the trees around your house, on your property, that's
Right.
going to leave the other ones standing out alone, and that's going to make them more
Yeah,
susceptible
I
to the
totally
wind.
agree with that as well, right.
So I think what we'll do is we'll go on a site visit on April 10th, take a look
Okay.
at it, and then if you'd like to come back in that evening,
Okay.
we'll render a decision.
Okay.
All right? Does that sound
okay.
good?
I'll just finish filling this out.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you move from another town?
We did. So Jolene and I have always, she's originally from Cape Cod, and
Okay.
I'm originally from Connecticut, and we had always looked to try and find a piece of property on water. We both grew up with families on water, and knowing that trying to buy near the ocean is, you know, you need to be a self-made millionaire, so neither one of us fit that category, so.
Well,
And we have families, some on Cape Cod and some back more in Western Mass, so
Okay.
Carver kind of was the midway point, so it was a perfect spot.
Good.
So
Well-
we're looking forward to becoming, this is our lifelong home. This is our grandkids fishing and kayaking home. So,
Well,
Welcome.
thank you.
welcome to Carver. And in 100 years, you might be oceanfront.
I won't need to worry about that. Okay.
Okay, great. Thanks very
you.
much. We'll see you on the 10th.
Okay,
Thanks.
great. Thank you.
All right.
I thought that was about, what, somebody took down trees in the buffer.
All right. Next up is 0 Rochester Road. That is Foley Farms, which is on the corner of Pine Street in Middleborough and Rochester Road in Carver, right at the bridge. Again, we went out and looked at it today. It is an area where they've cut the understory adjacent to a cranberry bog. There is a pump house that is back in the woods that now has clear access to it. There are stacks of the plastic trays that they use to put cranberries in.
Yeah, the dry berries, yeah.
Yeah. And a gentleman who obviously was a owner or, employee there came out and saw us there and came over and spoke with us. And it's basically what they're doing there is for materials and vehicles to store. And there's another area that they have kind of leveled off, and they put a rock wall around, and it's just sand on top now. And they are going to put in a fruit stand, similar to what was done on Meadow Street,
Okay.
the other one. And they have a whole hillside of blueberry bushes, and it's going to be a pick it yourself blueberry place.
Okay.
So, I mean, they did clear out, pretty close to the water, but from the standpoint of that there are exemptions for equipment and storage for the cranberry bogs, and this is an active bog, I don't see much of an issue there. And we don't require growers to come before us if they're going to do something like that. It's nice if they do, but we don't require it. We tried to get that as a bylaw about 5 years ago, and the town voted it down. So now it's just a suggestion, not a rule. So does anybody, Ann, you were there, Dave, is there any comments, concerns?
Didn't look like much destruction, really. They didn't fill near the river. I mean, it was just some minor underbrush, it looked like to me. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see it beforehand, but
It,
it's clearly being used for the bog.
Yeah, and they did not encroach into the wetlands, and it's standing water adjacent to a river, but where they cleared out is not adjacent to the river. There's a swamp and kind of a bit of standing water, so it's not within a riverfront area. So,
Shaver, just for the history, so the other commissioners know, a complaint was made to DEP, so we had to answer, for DEP. So whatever you folks come up with, DEP will be satisfied.
all right, we
So I'll
think,
pass it on to DEP.
yeah, we think it's fine.
Okay, that's fair enough, and they'll go with that, but that's what triggered having everyone go out, was a DEP complaint.
All right, it looks worse than it is.
Okay, well, I'll pass that on.
I think it probably the time of year, if there were leaves on the trees, it would not look nearly as bad as it does now. It looks like they did a lot more work than they did, but
Fair enough.
it seems fine. All right,
Yep,
thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, next up, we need to take a vote to accept the Wade Street property from the redevelopment authority. This is a plan of the Wade Street property. Wade Street is in the Vaughan Estates development, which is kind of across from the airport. And Wade Street goes back and ends in a cul-de-sac going west. And there is just a tiny bit larger than 8-acre parcel that was set aside when Vaughan Estates was originally built that was going to be their playground. It became primarily a stump dump when the houses were built in Vaughan Estates, and the parcel has sat there for a while. It eventually made its way to ownership of the town of Carver and the Select Board, and in 2010, the Select Board gave it to the Redevelopment Authority, who has held on to it for the last 14 years. The Redevelopment Authority made overtures to conservation late last year to turn this parcel over to the Conservation Commission as a permanent conservation property. And we voted at that time to accept it. The Select Board has said they had right of first refusal, they didn't want it back, the RDA doesn't want it. So basically what we need to do tonight, I have a plan here which you can take a look at. It's basically a square. There's very narrow access to it. So
there's the access right here.
yes, it's maybe 20, 30 feet wide. So there's no parking other than on the street in the cul-de-sac and on other parts of Wade Street. However, one thing that is good on this parcel is that the residents of Vaughan Estates have been utilizing the property as for walking and recreation. And there are trails through there that are very well kept. They're open, they're route-free, and it leads back behind on the, where's the north is straight up?
Yeah, north and straight up, yeah.
Okay, so on the northeast side property line are cranberry bogs and a pond. And kids go through there, walk through there, and fish in the pond. So the residents are sort of taking care of this property, and we've done a few site walks there, and it's been pretty good. The family that is adjacent to the property on the southwest corner, the Boulay family, they had encroached onto the town-owned property. They had put a barn on the property, they had put a fence on the property, they had put a garden with a cyclone fence on our property. They have moved the barn. They've cleaned up a lot of the garbage that was back in the corner. There are still 3 things that they need to take care of after we take ownership, and it's just a matter of us or the agent writing a letter indicating to the Boulay family that there's an electrical conduit that is sticking up out of the ground that may or may not be live. I wasn't going to put my tongue on it. I wasn't going to put my tongue on it. And the cyclone fence that surrounds their raised garden, a corner of it is
right there
in our property. And there are still some fence sections at the very back of the property that have to be removed. So once we take ownership of the property, we can have a letter drafted to the Boulays and asking them to take care of those 3 things. Give them a timeline when we would like it completed, and if they do not complete it by the timeline, we will hire someone to go in and do those things and charge them. Send them the bill.
Yep.
All right? So, what I will do is I will accept this is the deed, if you'd like to read it. This is just the deed of the property going from...
Yep.
This is the fence he has to remove.
Yeah, I remember being there for that, yeah. And they had all the burn pits in the back with all the trash and
Okay.
everything all over the place.
Just take a quick
So
look at
this
the
is here,
deed.
this is the end of Wade Street, so it's right
Yeah,
there.
this big,
That big.
yeah, because the pond, yeah, see the pond right there?
pond right there.
There's like kind of
Right.
trails, not like officially cut
big
trails,
one,
but people
yeah.
just walking through there, this well-worn paths, I guess you'd call it.
Someone has a pool there, that's the fence
Yeah,
on their
standard,
property, I guess.
Probably the neighbor over there, probably, yeah, because there are other houses
Okay.
along over here.
So is the access is here?
Yeah, there's just and then it This opens up into the. So they cleaned up all the trash and everything down back?
Yes, the trash was cleaned up.
That's the deed.
Okay.
You see, they had cut like a, not a street, but like a path, and then they had, back here, they had like a bunch of, there's a fence back here, and they had like 2 or 3 burn piles back here with tons and tons of aerosol cans and like all kinds of,
Okay, so
it was pretty bad, yeah.
All right, I will entertain a motion to, for the Conservation Commission to accept the deed for 0 Wade Street.
So moved?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded, moved by Dave, seconded by Curtis, by Carl, to accept the deed that we have here. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. All right, so I'm going to give this to, I'll start with Ann on my left. If you would leave the top 2 lines open. Dave and I have to sign this acceptance in front of a notary.
Okay,
So if you start on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th lines,
sure.
going across Curtis and Carl and Ann, then I'll take this, and I think Dave and I are going to try to get this done tomorrow.
So we're signing here under Conservation.
Yes, yeah.
Do we need to print and write our names?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Nobody can read my signature, so I'll put it.
It's probably good.
Just out of curiosity, does this abut any of the new development that's going on with that big?
That's a further over.
Yes.
It's further over,
over.
or it does abut with the other development?
The weather vane, right, is it? Or-
Yes, they own the
Yeah.
side.
This is Weather Vane, right here.
Okay.
And this is Cranberry Box
So,
Makepeace.
okay.
We have to sign that map too, right?
Yeah, I'd like us to initial,
He's got it.
yeah, just initial
Thing on- Yeah, okay.
the sticker, sit right by your left hand, yeah.
Yep, you want me to just initial it?
Yeah, just initial it. That's going to stay with the records here at the Concom office. at the lending office. All right,
I assume that property's gonna stay as is.
yes. We can sign this, Dave.
What's that?
We can sign this today.
Great.
We don't have to get that notarized. All right, thank you for this. This was supposed to be the original deed. Okay. All right, that is it for our order of business. We have one public hearing for Meadow Street that has been continued again till April 10th. Which is our next meeting, 3 weeks. Is that right? 3 weeks.
Yeah, you're gonna get a pretty full agenda next meeting.
A what?
A full agenda. All right.
Things are starting to come in.
It's spring.
Yeah,
I know.
That happens.
project start.
Okay. Dave, you're going to miss out on the fun?
I know. I'm not gonna be here.
So will come in and, we'll be hot for
Baptism of fire.
Okay. All right, so the last thing we have to do this evening, and Gary, I'd like you to just stay on the Zoom for a second afterwards.
Oh, I just had one thing.
Yeah.
I drove by the Wareham Street property, the one with the goats and the fence and
Yeah.
stuff, and he's removed all that. He's moved, the shed's all gone and everything.
Oh, good.
As far as I can see from the
Okay.
road, so it's a good thing.
Yeah,
He's
I
done a
saw the
good thing.
fence has been
All
moved
right,
out to the.
Actually, if we're talking about things not anticipated, I can ask Gary the question right now. Have you heard from the, we asked the builder for Lakeview Street and Main Street to do an after-the-fact NOI.
Right.
Have we heard from him yet?
Yes, they, since I'm not in the office anymore, I did get PDF copies of the plan and an NOI. They don't have to go through the state, it's just gonna be a town NOI since, it's our bylaw, that it's affecting. So, you should hear that, for the 10th.
That's, okay, that'll be on the 10th.
What property is that?
It's called, I think is it Zero Lakeview? Is that the address officially?
Right now, I think it's going 0 Lakeview.
Right. Yeah, we had it in the last week's.
Actually, if you need a map and lot number, I can get that to you later.
No, the address is fine. I just need a reference. Thank you.
But yeah, it's called Lot 1.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's the corner of Lakeview and South Main. Okay. Minutes. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. There's one minor correction.
Okay, let me pull it up. All right.
First paragraph, Eversource is one word. It's in two places.
Oh, okay, I see it. Thank you.
Okay? That's all I saw.
No, perfect. Thank you.
Anybody else have any issues with it? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of March 6th as amended.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Curtis got in there
Oh, you
first.
got it first.
Yeah, so, motion by Carl, second by Curtis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. That's approved 5-0. Does anybody have anything else unanticipated, anything?
Nope.
No? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Again, Carl and Curtis. It's been motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. We're out. Thank you very much. Thanks, Area 58.